Love wins here, Paul. Love wins. 25 frames a second.
I think you should start again.
I'll throw some here.
We're at Ueno Station and we're going to catch the Shinkansen to Nagano. One of the fastest trains on the planet, going about 300 kilometres an hour. With beginnings in 1964, Japan's Shinkansen now runs the full length of Honshu and Kyushu and has served nearly 6.5 billion customers, helping to boost Tokyo's huge local population by nearly 20% every day. Unlike Australia, in Japan you don't ever go very far without seeing houses. It's rural, but there's definitely not a lot of nothing. The nothing I'm talking about is this, the Australian outback. And apart from that rock over there, there's pretty much nothing in the middle of Australia. We're approaching the city of Nagano, you can see here behind me, and it looks very exciting. Before the wall, it was... This is our location. As you can see, it's quite big with the 0.5 lens on. We just have to basically go outside and we're virtually at the lifts. But it's not good today because it's raining and slushy. Matt's out there having a lesson in the slush probably, which is probably good for his tush. It's the slush tush comfort, that's not working. I think Nozawa Onsen is one of the prettiest little snow towns to walk around. Do look up though, this guy is looking for his next victim. My kind of job, that. And these guys are discussing Japanese fruit and which cheap alcohol to buy. Fruit in Japan is unusually large. I don't know whether you've seen the apples. Here's a picture of one. Really big apples. I don't know why they need to be bigger. Apple, we've got the biggest apples, whatever, Well, I mean, our apples in Australia are fine, I think. What do you think, guys? Often individually wrapped, Sakai Ichi Ringo are the largest apples in the world. If you look closely, you'll notice a star in the middle, a Ringo star. Ringo. Of course, this is a manufactured image. However, the Beatles' huge success in Japan was in fact because crowds flocked to see the band with the famous drumming apple. There's a handful of Japanese tribute bands that still pack out venues, and trust me, it's a great night out. Sorry, I'm rambling. Where were we? That's right, in the gondola.
They're really tangy as well.
They also have really big radishes called daikon and lizards. James can certainly attest to the fact that Nozawa Onsen has enough good runs to make your head steam. And being in Nagano, it's easy to head to one or two other resorts without heading all the way back into Tokyo. There's less than 100 other resorts. There's Hakuba, there's Madarao, St. Anton, I think, is there. But anyway, we did head back to Tokyo because we were heading to Zao. Zao Onsen is a 3-day walk from Tokyo Station, or as Mark prefers, an 11-day scenic walk via Kyoto without stopping. It may be quicker via hot air balloon depending on the weather patterns of the day. And since I've mentioned it, Kyoto is definitely worth a visit. From the temples to the famous bamboo forest known as Arishiyama. Kyoto is absolutely oozing culture, history and natural beauty. It's definitely worth that walk. An onsen is a hot spring in Japan, and you can see the hot water down there, the steam coming off it. There's always that familiar sulphur smell. According to local legend, a little under 2,000 years ago, a daimyo was shot with a poisoned arrow. As was his dying wish, his servants scoured the nearby mountains for a cherry tree blossom for him to see one last time. Spotting what looked like smoke, the servant discovered steam from a bubbling hot spring. Ushering the daimyo to the pool, the servant watched in wonder as his master was healed upon entering the water. Kamiyu Public Bath is the spring it describes, the source of the hot spring water in Zao. This sign outside Kamiyu Onsen tells a different story. But who can agree on 2,000-year-old stories anyway? On a clear day, the views from the Chuo ropeway get better as you climb. The first passenger ropeway was invented by Croatian Fausto Veranzio in 1616. He hated this photo. Interestingly, his uncle Antonio invented the "f*** you" hand signal we all use today. We've come to the other side of the mountain and wow, it looks pretty good. That sounds like our taxi. Aki and Mayo have run a great joint in Zao for quite a few years now. They'll even make you an igloo you can take home as a memento.
I don't know if I want to go inside it or not.
It feels a little unsafe. Sangoro in Zao, best place to stay on the mountain in my opinion, because it's up the mountain. Now you might think that that's a bad thing because you can't actually roam the village at night, but they've got everything you need here, including songs to sing along to on the chairlift. Snow sports have grown in Japan since Austrian Theo Lurch opened the first Japanese ski club in 1911 and then went on to star in hit TV series The Addams Family. I'm here with James, Jessie and Lucy. Tomorrow morning they're going to demonstrate how you eat natto. Tell us what natto is, Jessie.
Natto is fermented soybeans.
And what would we add to it before we eat it?
Oh, sometimes a raw egg, but it is a delicacy in Japan, so you should probably try it.
It's a delicacy because it makes your stomach so delicate, everything in it falls out. In actual fact, there's no such thing as a delicacy. But natto is a breakfast favourite among the Japanese, and yes, often with a raw egg. Natto is whole soybeans fermented in Bacillus subtilis, a bacterium found in soil and the gastrointestinal tracts of ruminants, humans, and marine sponges. The result of this fermentation is a menu item that could accurately be described as a pungent, sticky, slimy accident. As about 1,000 years ago, while boiling soybeans for their horses, troops of the samurai Minamoto no Yoshie were suddenly attacked. They quickly packed the soybeans in straw bags and days later discovered the beans had fermented. The horses all said forget it, so the troops ate them and gave some to their leader. Yato fugu tori oishi mono, he declared, which means, at last, something better than puffer fish. Now, if you head to the tippy top of Mount Zao in peak winter, you can meet Miyagi, the snow monsters. This is Zao Ropeway Sanchosen, which is the second of two gondolas which takes us up to the snow monsters. These monsters come to life.
Michael, did you hear that?
I didn't hear anything. If you look long enough, you will see their faces, each with its own unique expression.
end of a bluebird day. Ski patrol's just finishing for the day.
Good night.
And we're about to finish for the day too. Good night!
So it's the end of the day finally. You've put on your toilet shoes, had an onsen where cameras aren't allowed for obvious reasons, and it's time to relax.
Now you may think I'm at a library, but that is not the case. I am at Daichan with Mark, and we're going to have some gyoza and fried squid.
There's something about a day on the snow that makes the beer taste better. And there's no shortage of tiny little restaurants all across Japan that not only serve beer, but they make a cracking Japanese meal or two as well.
Good morning, Chrissy.
Now Mark, there's a fish here hanging with a hook on it. Tell us, what's that for?
It's an ancient Japanese tradition to have ornamental koi fish as they're a symbol of prosperity, courage and perseverance.
It's true, koi or carp, as we call them, are symbolic of Japanese culture, with desirable traits demonstrated by their ability to swim up a waterfall. Also, being beautifully coloured, they make great pets, despite their inability to sit, shake or round up sheep. Auctioned at the All Japan Koi Show, the metre-long S Legend sold for 203 million yen, which is just over 2 million Aussie dollars. And although koi can live to over 200 years, it died soon after, which is a real bummer because they don't even taste good with chips.
And now they're hanging the soup from the fish.
Well, I actually didn't know that story until Mark just told me. All I knew about was the soup bit.
Okay, alright, it's not a koi, it's a piranha. But I just thought it looked funny.
We're at Sendai Station. I'm here with Mark. Sendai Station is arguably what we would call in Australia an outback station, but it's a little bit different to our outback stations.
Of course, I'm talking about Cockatoo Station in Victoria, which we'll visit next series.
What do you think, Mark?
From Sendai, you can get to Kagoshima, then Wakanai, and back down to Apikogan, all in about 15 minutes in one of these. But we booked a bus.
There's a little bit of doubt about whether we've actually booked a bus. There might not be any bus coming, so we might have to go and have a bivvy. Is there enough time for us to have a bivvy?
A bivvy, of course, is a New Zealand beverage.
Bivvies. It's bivvy time.
3, 2, 1.
In Japan, you can buy a bivvy from just about anywhere. A grocery store, a servo, the street, some random corridor, and then you can dance. Or just fall over.
Shut down.
It's snowing in Apikogan.
It's 7 minutes past 6 and we've arrived at the ANA Crown Plaza, or as the Japanese call it, the ANA. The most striking thing about the ANA Crown Plaza is it's yellow. Designed by renowned graphic designer Yusaku Kamakura, the hotel is described as functional with an exterior that's clean and sharp. Apikogan has won some awards, the best ski resort in Japan last year. I'm pretty sure this is the same music that was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And yes, I am a little bit worried about that.
Fear not, even with this harrowing soundtrack, Apikogan is still a fantastic place to go and attempt to bury your friends. On about 700 acres with 21 runs, it is the 5th largest ski resort in Japan, and its longest run is a whopping 5.5 kilometres.
Mark seems obsessed with getting all of the snow off his snowboard before we go down. Like, as soon as you get on the snow, it's just going to be covered in it. I don't know why you're doing that.
It's not snow, it's ice, and it's hurting.
Oh yeah,
hurting my
what's
flat
snow?
feet.
What's snow?
It's
Ice. Have a look at the view.
Look, it's changing my stance. It's hurting my feet.
The temperature's actually dropped somewhat because you stopped that.
What?
You can actually blow smoke rings. Stop that. It's freezing out here. It's freezing. But the good thing is all the tracks that were there before, they're all gone. They're gone.
They're all on my bloody board.
Now what we've got over here is quite common. You see in Apikogan, people mining for snow. He hasn't found any yet, but fair chance, you know, if you dig deep, you'll find some snow. I mean, it hasn't taken off in Australia much in the capital cities, but I'm going to take back a suitcase full of snow, and I think there'll be some buyers in Adelaide.
I wish you all the best with that, Michael.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And it's the perfect day to stay down the mountain and find the highest quality snow to take home.
Blizzard conditions forecast today. As you can see, all around me is nothing but white. So it looks fantastic, but even just having my glove off and holding this phone for, 25 seconds now, it's starting to really hurt. It's about minus 20, and apparently the wind factor up on the hill is minus 44. That's what it feels like.
Apikogan is a more traditional Japanese resort like Shigakogan in that it doesn't have a lot of bars. To a large extent, the idea is guests generally have all of their needs met in the place they're staying.
I'm here at the Apikogan food court where there's all sorts of yummy foods available. Indian, Japanese, you might be surprised to hear. I'm actually having special ramen dam noodles, and it's so hot that I'm still eating, but everyone else in the whole place has left.
If you're still fit and full of energy after a day on the snow, there's usually a games arcade nearby where you can work up enough of an appetite to eat every burger. And then of course there's karaoke and competition shopping. That's just seeing who can find the most amusingly named item.
Look.
I'm glad that E's there.
Do you need general paste? Quite handy for most general needs when paste is required.
Welcome back to the Snow Sports Show. Today we'll be covering 3 new tricks: tomarimasu, ochimasu, and ganchako shimasu. You might recognise these as stopping, falling, and face planting. Lovely face plant there. Let's see that again. Get that body horizontal. Now really push that face into the snow first. Lovely work there. Practice that 2 or 3 times a day and you'll have that down pat. Next up we have stopping, and this is a pretty simple one. Danny here showing us how to stop. Excellent. Well, he didn't actually stop, did he? So bad luck, Daniel. That's a fail there. This is how you stop. It's the rollover stop there. And while we're on Mark, he's going to show us another way to stop, which is called the lean back stop. You just lean back and you stop. Lovely stuff.
Whose idea was this?
On to falling now. If you do feel like you are going to fall, try not to do what I'm doing here. It's important not to go across in front of the other skiers. But I did avoid everybody and then I fell. And so well done me.
That was alright.
Then of course there's the combination stopping, falling and face planting here. Thanks to the Wild Bunch project, probably the best part is when she stands up and sees that person holding the camera. Yes, I realise we've all seen this one, but it never gets old. Fantastic effort.
Hello, we are on an island called Enoshima and we are standing at a fountain at the moment. This is a dragon. It's really awesome.
Sorry, it seems my children have got a hold of my camera again, and we've also gone back in time. But while we're here, there are many great places to go in Japan if you do have kids. The island of Enoshima is one, Hakone, a little bit further southwest, is another, with great views of Fujisan and really fun toilets. And if you're really into masochism, there's always Disneyland, which I refuse to show you. Seriously, I'd prefer your children played with guns.
Yamanouchi at the moment, and we're about to go to Jigakudani Monkey Park.
A short bus ride from Yamanouchi and you're walking the snowy path to Jigakudani Yaen Koen, where the monkeys will show you how to find lunch in your brother's or mum's hair. Yummy. Oh, and before we finish up, you'll likely end up back in Tokyo before you go home. That's where we went in episode 1, if you haven't seen it. But a great outing for young kids is a tour of some of Japan's temples and museums. Kids just really, really, really love temples and museums, especially late at night.
It's a sacred place. Don't sit on their stairs and eat or drink. Well, I wasn't going to anyway. I don't have any drinks or food. But if I did, I wouldn't because I'm respectful.
Well, look at that. We've reached the end of episode 6 and the whole series of The Rambling Man.
What did you think, Paul?
I must say, I was impressed.
And there's still so much we didn't even get to yet.
Did you see his hair? Yeah, like mine.
The good news is there's plenty more Rambling Man coming online. Here we are at Melbourne's water supply. So we don't want to be putting things in it that we really don't want in it. You know, certain things must remain pretty clean. And we go back to Greece where we meet Nick the Greek and we visit the village of Orio.
Ah, so you're Nick the Greek who doesn't play cards?
Yeah, doesn't play cards. And the village's name is Orio.
Orio.
Like they pronounce
Like the biscuits.
And our exciting visit to the ancient island of Delos. It turns out he'd seen some Malaccas on another boat and was giving them a wave. That's nice.
We are all shocked, amazed, and confused.
It's his real hair.
And we'll be bringing plenty more random stuff like this.
So we'll delete that bit. Huge rock festivals here back 2,500 years ago.
Shake it, baby.
This is called a beignet. The reason it's called that is because the chef's name is Ben, and when he makes them, everyone says yay.
Extremely juvenile.
It's thank you time. Mark, I know you wanted to be the co-star, but James said he'd pay me.
This is bullshit. I'll pay you double.
It's too late. That's why we're here at the bank.
I'll tell people I like you.
Okay. So thank you, Mark, for the easiest 2 million yen I ever made. And I'm glad you were happy. Thank you, Jessie Jeannie Zeitz, for her non-stop dancing. She didn't even need any music. I'm guessing the music in her head was something like this. And of course Charlie and Max. And I'd like to thank Paul Jolly for his San Franciscan sandwich recipe.
Want me to squash it?
Did you wash your hands before you did this?
Can't remember.
No, I don't want you to squash it.
Okay.
And for his disco moves and a very relaxing sailing trip.
Any obstacles that we should be worried about, Paul?
Off to the left. Shit. For some reason, depth is saying
4 metres is flashing.
Abandon ship! And let's not forget happy traveller Paul.
Too early. I only came on this trip because you promised me a brewery.
You've missed the town, Paul.
Is that it? The only reason I promised to come on this trip with this boring sod is to get a sausage roll from a server.
It's fair to say Paul was my favourite travelling companion.
That's true.
Trying not to look like a tourist. Check out this view. Want crabs? Get them here.
That's town legend. Choice.
It didn't snow last night, but I managed to grow some hair. We're going to go down this dark alley and find something nice. Let's go, baby!
international boats aren't allowed to steer into American soil.
Not many people know that.